Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're still on the press, reaching you live from our Abuja studios, and I'm Messi Babajide. And now joining us is Dr. Olamide Samuel to analyze most of the recent happenings and the politics, not just that, most of the headlines on our national dailies this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, I think this will be the second time or first time.
First time actually this year, so it's safe to say Happy New Year to you. All right, that was a good one. We have lots happening and we have limited time. But before we move deep into today's topic proper, I'd like to remind our viewers at home that our phone lines are of course turned on to take in your calls, but remember to turn down the volume of your TV set, and then you have to make your contribution in 60 seconds because we have to of course take other calls. But then let's quickly start with this one that caught my attention from Daily Independent newspaper this morning. It has said Tinubu to issue executive order to slash rising price of medicines. Of course, we all know the power the executive order holds in Nigeria, given from, let's start from May 29, where the president said fuel subsidy is gone. And of course, with immediate effect, or let's use the Nigerian word, immediate alacrity, fuel subsidy actually went. But then something happened in December where the presidency, of course, came out to say because of the festive season, they would be given 50% discount on transportation. Not just that, free train rides for Nigerians. But we have a report in one of our report folders there where it says that actually most of these things were not able to come to friction because of Nigerians at large. But now the presidency has said they want to issue executive order to slash rising prices of medicines. Do you actually think this is even going to be effective? And given that most of the companies that actually produce medicines in Nigeria, we've seen them exit Nigeria due to the recent economy issues we have. And then given the recent economy problems or economic issues we have in Nigeria, do you actually think this is effective?
Number one thing is I actually said it when they said they wanted to slash the transport fare during the festive season into with 50%. I said it's going to be scam. Because Nigerians won't actually benefit much from it compared to what will actually go to the purse of the politicians. I said it clearly and categorically. I made my explanation clear to everybody that very day. And on this one, I want to be sure that, though very sure that we have the number of companies that are producing drugs in Nigeria, because you have to be registered to do that. But at the same time, what happened during the festive season will still happen, because you get to train station, Nigerians are telling you that we are paying, and federal government is saying we've actually paid. It's free. So, and there is no way you enter that train without payment. It's not possible. So Nigerians actually faced that, and maybe out of 100% of Nigerians, we have just 1% that were paid for. So, and that 1% were the people that will come out, that the government will approach and said, okay, yeah, do video for us so that we'll be able to tell other Nigerians that we've done this. I said it then that it is actually better for the government to have used that money for a better thing instead of, I know very sure they actually want to scam Nigerians. That is why they actually brought that one. And with this, if you want to reduce the prices of medicines, why are you reducing? Why don't we have free hospitals, free medical provisions? Why didn't we have that, so that we know very sure we don't need to go and be buying drugs? Why do we need to go and be buying when we are actually being taken to federal hospitals, state hospitals? Why? Because all these are supposed to be free, and even if they are not going to be free, then it should be in a subsidized rate that even people that are paying, people that are going there will not even feel that they are paying anything. That's what's supposed to be more. With this now, you know very sure that this is another lie to pack our money from that policy or from that decision. I know very sure, and I want to believe that you see the account, you see what they will have accounted for concerned as touches that 50% slash of for transport fare. We'll see the expenses now. Then you will now compare to what they will still bring out at the end of the year. Don't forget that Wale and other finance ministers, other finance experts actually said yesterday that from subsidy removal, we could actually, Nigerians should by all means or must actually save 4 trillion naira. From floating of naira, we save 4 trillion naira. That means that takes it to be 8 trillion naira annually. So, and if you actually remove 8 trillion naira from our budget, you know how much that is. How much that is. So instead of us to go and be borrowing, why can't we use that? Then after that 8 trillions of naira, can't we have other refineries being fixed? From that 8 trillion naira, can't we have the wage award and everything that you want to do? From that 8 trillion naira, can't we have roads being done? We can, but you see, all these unimaginary expenses will actually take up all the money that we're talking about, the savings that we're talking about, and Nigerians will still come out and be shouting that, oh, they've actually duped us. But now we need to against it. We don't need you to slash the price of the medicine. We want you to give us free medical services. But even if you are not giving us free, let the medical provisions be made so that at least we'll know very sure that we are safe when we are in hospital. So
are you trying to say the federal government pushing out all these policies are the problem, or the people at the receiving end, given that, of course, you know, the president cannot, of course, come down to every hospital to say, oh, it has to be free? Because in this case, in one of the reports, something caught my attention where they said, oh, there were certain guidelines. Of course, the T&T applied for the free train station services to be followed through.
Why should T&T apply?
Oh, you cannot just walk into a train station and just enter the train and say you are going to Kaduna.
The question is, if I want to enter train now, yesterday I was asking my colleague, I wanted to go to Kaduna. He actually told me that the fee for train from here to Kaduna is now 6,000 naira. Why road is just 4,000 naira. So that means we are actually pushing people back from train to road. That is not actually safe. So what is... Ordinarily, if I want to enter train by myself, I want to board a train by myself, I will just go online, book. So if if you have actually paid for me and I booked, so it should be free. It's as simple as that. There's nothing like T&T. T&T for what? On what basis? Let's be sincere to ourselves. There are some policies that you need T&T. Not like you telling us that okay, something is free. When you say something is free, look at what happened amidst the transport companies that were given 50% slash. They increased their fees.
So even the 50%,
is not even showing, because people that were supposed to pay 20,000 naira before for their journey, and because of the 50%, you have to pay 10,000 naira. Now the transport company increased the fee to 40,000 naira. Now they are actually still paying up to 45,000, and they are now paying 22,500. Who does that? Can you see that? So where is the decrease? Oh, if you actually want to do something, then there should be monitoring. There should be a proper monitoring. And on this case of the train, there's nothing like T&T. Let's be sincere, unless we want to actually reap ourselves. That's just it. How will you tell me how many train stations do we have in Nigeria? How many train stations? How many routes are we planning? So if you are talking about from Abuja to Kaduna, how many distance? How much distance is it that you want to be applying T&T? What's T&T? So if I can actually go on my Google or through Google and search for, okay, I want to book train, and I book train 6,000 naira, then if you actually make it free, then I should be able to go there at the same way I went there while I was to pay for my fee myself and booked. It's as simple as that. And I'll get there, I show them my ticket, that's all.
That's a lot, but then I'm sure we'll see revisit that when they've thought through that policy properly. But then there's the abduction epidemic happening right now in Nigeria, and then one would wonder, given that we're in the Federal Capital Territory, that it should be safe to some extent. I mean, it's not as if, oh, someone is more Nigerian than the other, but then given that you are in the Federal Capital Territory, you would think that it should be safer, I think. But then let's call him Governor Wike, because that's the name people call him. Wike has come out to read the Riot Act to most of these people, saying this is not the way to go and it should stop. And of course, the police in massive deployment faults raising ransom as the major issue. But then something happened, I think it was last week or early this week, where they kidnapped, I think, about 8 persons, and it started from killing 1 to killing 2 to killing 3.
And they even increased the ransom.
They increased the ransom, yes. But what bothered me the most was the fact that someone, or an ex-minister, outrightly came out on one of the social media apps to actually talk about raising funds. But one would think that as an ex-minister, you should know better as regards coming out to the public to say, oh, you are crowdfunding. And now the federal government has said it's illegal to crowdfund. Let me finish, Dokita. The federal government has said it is now illegal to crowdfund. I'd like to take
for ransom.
For ransom.
Mercy. God forbid, in quotes, it will not happen to you. Even I don't even pray that it will happen to your enemy, but let's assume that it happened to one of your your enemies. Are you getting it? Now, would you wait for a security agent that a group of band was kidnapped in this capital from these routes to a capital territory, and until ransom were paid? After ransom were paid, they were released. After they were released, police did not do anything. Would you have waited for such government to rely on them, or you find a way for yourself? Now let me still come back. That ex-minister that actually raised raised the alarm, that was like, okay, let's raise fund. Do you know he didn't know what he's doing? Yeah, he did, because he knew what they left. Apart from that, do you know where our problem is? Our problem started from let me say African problem started from, the leadership. How would you expect, I think I said it, how would you expect a blind man to be leading a group of one-eyed persons, and you expect them to land well? Go and check who is the president of African Union. Asali Asomani. Somebody that cannot lead a country with less than 1 million people. Somebody that cannot provide security. Somebody that cannot alleviate poverty while leading a country that is less than 1 million people, is now the chairperson of African Union. Giant, as in the world African continent. Are you getting this? Now, this same person that we are talking about, I am not going to use a word that will actually be like I'm too somehow harsh. This Asali Asomani is just 65 years anyway. Had been a coup leader. The same person came into governance 2002 after the coup leader in 1999. 2002 he exited politics. 2006, came back 2016 just to come and change the constitution of Comoros, so that he would be the only president for donkey of years. And this will be the 4th time. The same president that is now the chairperson of AU cannot conduct free and fair election. Do you expect him to take affairs of the whole Africa? The same person that we are talking about, poverty is rampaging just because, and they were in Ireland though, Mozambique and Channel of India, and so now how do you expect such person to take care of Africa if the leader of African Union is actually so worst when it comes to leadership? So you don't expect anything from the whole continent, and that is what is leading to Nigeria, because there is no one to caution them. The person that's supposed to caution them is not actually working. So if I'm actually stealing, how will I caution you not to steal? If I'm a thief, then you could actually be armed robber. That's just the fact. So now Nigeria is in a state of dilemma. Are you getting it? And we need a strong person, not just a politician, somebody that has no foreign and that have a foreign establishment, that will not lose anything. That is why I'm not campaigning for anybody anyway. That's why I say I like a particular candidate. I prefer that candidate because his establishment, go go and touch that establishment, he will still be talking, he will still be telling you that this is what is right, this is what is wrong, but people will not vote because he doesn't have money. So currently, my dear, this government that said it is illegal to crowdfunding for ransom, ask them if they are not paying ransom. Ask them how many kidnapped citizens have they can they categorically come out and boldly say they saved them, they got them back without paying a ransom.
But the issue with crowdfunding is, you know, that we do not even know whether the people that or the kidnappers actually on the internet.
That is
one. Two. Now, if these people on the internet and they see that, oh, everybody is gathering money for a certain person. Now, after they found out that they increased, they were able to gather funds for the first person that was kidnapped through crowdfunding, then they increased. They are, of course, came out and they increased the ransom money. That's one. Two, the next day we had, I think, on Benue Road, where people were kidnapped with 3 buses. I mean, 3 coastal buses is a lot. That's like an 18-passenger bus now. 18 multiplied by 3. That's one. Another thing, we have 3 million naira ransom placed on each of them.
What I'm against is crowdfunding, but I'm not against the fact. That's where I'm coming. What I against is the crowdfunding, but federal government saying that we should not pay ransom, though we ought not. No,
they said crowdfunding is illegal. Not saying and they, of course, someone has said, oh, crowdfunding is wrong, and said, oh, the Minister of Defense too came out to say, oh, paying ransom in itself is wrong. But then let's quickly take this call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for calling the press. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Chief Areo.
Okay, Chief Areo, thank you for calling. Please join in on the conversation.
Yeah, I was almost getting irritated when I heard the newspaper today that they should not pay ransom. That is overstatement. You ask the government what happened in Kaduna during this Baptist high school. The students, they were there for months. The federal government did not say anything until the Baptist convention gathered billions of naira to release these boys. And even then, it was done in piecemeal. Deliberately, they decided to leave some of the boys behind. That was the tactics the kidnappers were using. So for the federal government to tell us that don't pay ransom, don't do this thing. And let me quickly go to Pantami. You see, he was an ex-minister, and I never expected him to have made that type of statement. And Pantami, I have a reservation for him, because I know his activities, or better still, before he became the minister. Okay. And when he said that he has repented, or better still, he became born again, we knew when he was allegedly accused of even having some this thing in terrorism. So by the time you look at what our government is telling us, it's very funny. I want to ask our government, if you say they should not pay ransom, do you have any means of securing the people? You are not securing them, and you say they should not pay ransom. That is unfortunate. Then let me quickly go to NBC. The judgment of NBC that they should not worry these stations. You see, it was one of the signature projects of Buhari administration under the superintendent of Lai Mohammed, the Minister for Information. Yeah. I cannot understand how regulatory body has become a court or a court of law. It was just very funny. They were just trying to muzzle the media to prevent freedom of speech. It was, in my own opinion, it was the highest impunity to the highest level that we have never seen during Buhari time. And in my own opinion, you see, somebody like Lai Mohammed should not hold any position in Nigeria. Let me tell you, he was almost crippling democracy in Nigeria. They introduced hate speech. Before they came on board, Jonathan gave them a complete clear field. Everybody was saying anything he likes, including Lai Mohammed and Buhari. But when they came on board, they started muzzling the media. They started doing everything. So I say kudos to the court for stopping them. If the court has not stopped them, my brother, Nigeria will have been in problem when it comes to the democracy. Nigeria will not forget the former Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, on time of his activities during that period. God bless our country, Nigeria.
All right, thank you, Chief Ariel. Thank you so much for that contribution. I'm sure he's referring to the court banning NBC from sanctioning media houses, which is actually a good one to start, because at this point it looks like democracy, I mean, it's supposed to be the government for the people, of the people, and there's freedom of speech in the constitution, which we clearly said. Which brings me to my next question. Is that really respect for the rule of law? Because even when you check it, there are bodies in Nigeria that even their own, let's say, civil rights or constitution even contradicts the Nigerian constitution itself. Don't we have bodies actually supposed to checkmate most of them?
Let me actually conclude on the other one, then I'll ask, okay. I will actually respond to this. Mercy, I said it again that I against crowdfunding. And it's not that we are supporting ransom payment. I am not in support of ransom payment, but government that is giving us this task that we should not pay ransom pays ransom. So how do we save ourselves? How do we free ourselves from these kidnappers? And let's be sincere about Pantami that came out. I am not alleging him anyway. We knew what he was alleged of, as our caller said. So if Pantami actually came out, that was why I said they knew what they did. So they knew those people that they were doing it for. They were doing it for there, and they are doing it for now. So they could actually be part of that. I am not talking about Pantami. What I'm talking about the federal government, because the federal government had not put in place what we could actually trust. What we can believe in, the system we can believe in, we can rely on, as touches kidnapping and touches insecurity.
Now, still on what you said, because I was trying to look for a particular paper that coined it the way I wanted to say it. Blueprint newspaper. Please put it on the screen. Bandits hold on to victims in FCT. Federal government declares ransom payments illegal. Warns against crowdfunding.
Can you see? You know when I said when I told you that they talked about ransom payment, they against ransom payment. You see now, it's not that, it's what I actually heard, what I actually read, and now I am saying we are not supporting ransom payment, but since there is no provision, there is no security guarantee, then what are we going to do? We are going to save ourselves.
Then what about those that cannot afford even the ransom? But please hold on, let's quickly take this caller. Good morning, thank you for calling the press.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling you from Akonga.
Okay, Akonga. Your name, please.
My name is Innocent.
Okay, all right, Innocent. Please join in on the conversation in 60 seconds.
Yes. You see, let's tell ourselves the truth. This APC-led government, they are taking Nigeria, we the people, ordinary people in Nigeria, for granted. How can the government will come and tell us that we should not pay ransom? What are they do for us? Are they feel the impact, the pain that we suffer in the hand of the kidnapper? How can the reasonable government will come and say this? They did not do anything for the ordinary people. How many years? 8 years. Almost 9 years, people are suffering in the hand of kidnapper. They did not do anything to stop it. And they are telling us that we should not pay anything. Please, they should not take the ordinary people for granted. In fact, we will make them, they will not feel comfortable. One day, when we go to the street, they will not feel comfortable. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Innocence, for that contribution. Please continue, Doctor.
So I am not, again, I am saying it that ransom payment is illegal. It's not right, but it is only when you might have chased a goat to the end of the war, then it turns back. So we were left with no choice, and that's why we are paying this ransom. I will be using bands that were kidnapped in Abuja, which actually I know them, and they paid ransom till today. I don't know if yesterday that we did not talk, the police will go to them and ask them what happened. Don't forget, police were the one that picked their vehicles where they dropped it. Are you getting it? And this same police had not started any investigation on that. So what are we now saying? What are we now saying? So what if those people have not paid the ransom? They will still be there. So that means there is a particular there is a particular cabal in government that is backing these kidnappers. If not, they will have been checkmated. So that is that about that. Now you ask a question. Is it
about government agencies, their constitution not tallying with the Nigerian constitution?
Let me be sincere to you. Presently in Nigeria, we have diverse of constitution and politicians that holds precision.
Oh, let's use acts, not constitution. Let's use acts.
We see. I'm just is okay. I want to be straightforward. We have another constitution in another part of this country governing them. They call it Sharia law.
Sharia law, yeah, that's good.
Are you getting it? Sharia law is like 50% contradicting our constitution in Nigeria, and nobody in the government has been talking about it. So what are we saying? And if that one could actually be upheld, then another group will come out.
But not to the point of you actually withholding people's rights
that
to
is
freedom of speech.
Are they not? That is, when you do something, when you do something and you get away with it, another person will do worst. But that is what is happening here. If we have people that actually have the mindset of serving masses in the governance, it will not be happening. It's because those that we are putting in the position are just there for their service in there. Imagine Lai Mohammed. That Lai, I would not want to, but that Lai Mohammed that was shouting when Jonathan was there. He came on board and started because he knew what he did.
And they banned Twitter.
So he wanted to prevent people from what he did. Yoruba people will say, "Afi that panic more." That means people that kill with sword will not want to see knife in their presence.
All right, let's quickly take this caller. Good morning. Thank you for calling the press.
Good morning.
Please, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Williams. I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, Williams, please join in on the conversation.
Yes, like this very kidnapping issue. Seriously, we should not blame our police. Your man there, he said it all. There is a cabal, the politicians that sponsor all this. Okay. Because it was day before yesterday when I was watching the paper review. Someone said that from Kaduna that DPO said that if they catch them, they will kill them there. Because immediately they bring them to the division, someone will call from Abuja or CP from Abuja will call that he's interested
in the case
for the case. Before you know, the matter will go off. So all this one that we are saying is not the weakness of our police, the order given to them. Because if police arrest today, they will do all their effort and arrest, but at the end, that is where the matter will end up. And maybe those people will come back and hunt the same police that are arresting them. So this issue is from the top. We should just check it from the top. It's our politicians that sponsor all these things. That is it. That's what I have to contribute here.
Thank you, Williams from Abuja. Thank you so much. That's actually made me remember a video, and would have to look for that video out. Let's quickly take one more matter in 2 minutes. That is Ibadan explosion. Residents blame Mali and illegal miners as federal government probes blasts. I just like to get you in less than 2 minutes your contribution to.
Let me just come from this side that first, why would CAC give a certificate to miners to mine in residential areas? Bodija, for that matter, a very crowded environment. That is off it. So one, the first thing is the miners will be prosecuted. CAC, those as in the group of people that were there that actually approved that should be prosecuted. Then that should be prevented for happening again. Another thing is Ibadan or your state and the federal government should in every area come to the aid of people that lost their lives, those that they were injured, because with that then we'll know that at least they've actually gotten a strict course to make sure that at least they were relieved. Are you getting it? But apart from that, governments should check their agencies too, because their agencies, imagine the foreigners for that matter came, because we give preferential treatment to foreigners in this country, and that is what is actually killing us. If you fight a foreigner now, if you fight a foreigner now, you'll be shocked that you'll be the one that will actually sleep in the custom.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Olamide Samuel, for doing justice to most of our reviews and newspaper. For today, we'll have you, of course, several times more on the press.